From the headquarters of teleSUR English in Quito, Ecuador, I am Estefania Bravo, and this is From the South. Latin American and Caribbean countries of the Bolivarian Alliance of the People for Our America, also known as Alba, met on Monday in Venezuela's capital, Caracas, for the 15th Alba Summit. They expressed their rejection of foreign interference in Venezuela. During his opening speech, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro spoke about his optimism for the future through Venezuela's upcoming elections and the launch of its cryptocurrency, the Petro.
Because of previous experience, Alba is in a place to move forward through working mechanisms that are more fixed. And we should draw out of this summit the need to meet periodically to work through our agendas and make our decisions so we can progress on vital economic, social, cultural, diplomatic and geopolitical actions of Latin America and the Caribbean and the rest of the world.
The summit strongly condemned the decision by Peru to withdraw an invitation to President Nicolás Maduro to attend the America Summit in Lima next month. Bolivia's President Evo Morales said he was helping to prepare an alternative People's Summit.
We will analyze how and if we're going to participate as ALBA countries at the upcoming Summit of the Americas. We are organizing a large meeting, which will be an alternative summit to the Heads of State meeting. This week I have meetings with leaders of Peru, and we will plan this together. My hope is that at this meeting of social movements of America will be attended by former presidents like Mujica, Lugo, Dilma, Lula, Correa, and Cristina, as former leaders who are anti-imperialists and who were born of social movements.
The Secretary General of ALBA TCP, David Choquehuanca, presented the summit's final declaration, including its aim to promote a new world order.
We reiterate the decision to promote the formation of a new world order that is fair, that is pluricultural, as opposed to hegemonic and unilateral tendencies, with strict respect for the peoples, for the elected institutions by them, and the diverse cultures in our planet. We denounce the attempts to resuscitate the Monroe Doctrine, as are the attempted coups against the constitutional government of Venezuela. We also bring to light the lack of moral authority to give us lessons in democracy and human rights to the country and the countries of the region. We demand respect for sovereignty and the right of free determination of the peoples.
Suriname's Foreign Minister Ildis Polak-Bale spoke on the key example of Venezuela for the region under the Bolivarian government of Chavez and Maduro.
Venezuela is a clear example of this politic. In recent years, countries of Latin America and the Caribbean have worked together to address regional challenges like peaceful dialogue and development. This was a firm commitment made by all of us in order to collectively address our problems and guarantee our people a decent life.
President of Nicaragua, Daniel Ortega, said he was proud to give his support to the Venezuelan people and to the President Nicolás Maduro in his current fight for peace and for the welfare of the Latin American people.
Estamos totalmente seguros, convencidos.
We are totally sure, convinced, that the seed that Fidel and Chavez planted, that seed has sprouted fruit already, and continues to multiply, sprouting more fruit. And today, this practice of gathering to establish the norms of exchange with real justice is what our America, our Latin America and Caribbean demands, in order to eradicate poverty and to be truly free and independent. Thank you, Nicolás, for being at the forefront of this battle with the heroic people, the people of Bolívar and of Chavez.
The Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerrit, was one of the many who spoke about the importance of the various institutions founded by Chavez.
All of our countries which are members of Petrocaribe have seen the manifested benefits of this program to all people in large measure. Petrocaribe has helped reduce poverty in our region. It has created better access to healthcare for all citizens. It has also created access to education. It has given us a better sense of identity in the region of Caribbean and Latin America. And there is nowhere in the world where any such mechanism has been developed so successfully.
Throughout Venezuela and Latin America, people have been paying homage to former President Hugo Chavez on the 5th anniversary of his passing. Chavez died on March 5, 2013, after a battle with cancer. On Monday, there were tributes taking place throughout Venezuela, including at Chavez resting place at the Cuartel de la Montaña. Leaders from Alba TCP also attended the tribute to Chavez, along with President Nicolás Maduro. The Todos Somos Venezuela movement, translated as We Are All Venezuela, has launched an event to support the Bolivarian Revolution and President Nicolás Maduro. 500 people from different organizations, political parties, and social movements from Venezuela, and 300 international guests from more than 95 countries are attending the three-day meeting in Caracas. The movement says they are dedicated to supporting democracy, dignity, peace, and understanding as they stand in solidarity with the Bolivarian Revolution. We'll take a short break now. Join us again after this look at what our multimedia colleagues are reporting. Welcome back. Thousands of Argentinian teachers have mobilized against education reform. They marched from Congress to the Education Ministry at the Pisuro Palace in Buenos Aires on Monday as part of a 48-hour strike. This follows events last week when education unions rejected a 12% salary increase offered by the government, claiming that it was insufficient and demanding a 24% increase instead. And Argentina's women's rights groups will present a bill in Congress to legalize abortion. The proposal already has the support of 70 lawmakers. Feminist groups fought for 13 years to get support from over 500 organizations. Between 370,000 and 520,000 secret abortions are performed in Argentina every year. Demonstrations in support of the bill are expected on the steps of the Congress. The right-wing Arena party has taken the lead in the legislative and municipal elections held on Sunday. The official party, FMLN, recognized the results and conceded the Arena candidate, Ernesto Muchot, took the municipality of the capital of San Salvador. More than 5 million people were called to vote to elect 84 congressmen and mayors for 262 municipalities. In Paraguay, the Ganar Alliance has denounced the first polls released ahead of the presidential elections due to take place on April 22nd. They claim that they have been manipulated by the ruling Conservative Party, Colorado.
The Liberal Progressive Coalition insists polling given an advantage to the Colorado Party ahead of the elections are meant to create a divide between alliance members, the Guasu Front, and the Liberal Party.
What do we read in this poll? First, creating a divide between the Guasu Front and Ganar Alliance, looking at the result from the senators' list and the national list. They are trying to damage the trust between parties.
The poll carried out by First Analysis gives an advantage to Colorado Party candidate Mario Abdo Benitez. However, the poll did not name the Ganar Alliance candidate Efraín Alegre and instead simply listed the Liberal Party itself. Many see this discrepancy as a blatant manipulation by the ruling Conservative Party.
There are some polls that show that we are heading for a tie. We see the First Analysis poll as a dirty poll that does not uphold the democratic processes and tries to dupe everyone.
Despite what is being seen as a campaign to demoralize the alliance, members say they have data that reveals that they are gaining ground. They remain firm in their belief that they are on track to defeat the current president, Horacio Cartes.
We can see growing enthusiasm. We have data that shows we are gaining votes. This is hard data. We do not plan to publish it, but there's a surge in interest.
Ganar Alliance, led by Efraín Alegre, seeks to remove the Colorado Party from power.
The ruling Jamaica Labour Party maintains its narrow lead in the parliament with a win for Nigel Clark in the by-elections. The election was for a new member of parliament for St. Andrew Northwest after Derek Smith, who held the constituency for the JLP for 29 years, resigned in January. The win wasn't surprising as the seat was always considered a JLP stronghold. Prime Minister Andrew Holmes thanked supporters for voting, even though turnout was said to be low. In Panama, a report has revealed that millions of dollars were suspiciously managed by deputies during last government.
Another corruption scandal has shaken Congress as their members have been accused of using public funds during the last government.
Esto viene a demostrar una vez más como parte de la cadena de escándalos de corrupción.
This shows once again how the corruption scandals in Panama are going through a deep ethical and institutional crisis. People are demanding answers since they are fighting for deep reform.
A report has revealed that more than $200 million destined for community aid and sport activities were misused by 70 of the 71 deputies between 2010 and 2014. The funds were received by 186 communal boards and municipalities around the country. This money might even have been used to campaign. The spending of more than $70 million cannot be justified.
A deeper investigation must be done. This was not used only by one group. Every political party has used public money at least once to finance their campaigns.
The controversy joins the ones made by legislative power during the same time. They irregularly used more than $400 million from the National Help Program for electoral campaign during 2014.
Political elites in this country are involved in corruption scandals. It is necessary to make them confess in front of the country. They must be punished by law. We cannot expect this to be solved with another debate between the executive and legislative powers. All of them must give an answer to the country. We demand true justice, and these people must give back everything they've stolen.
In the last months, many corruption cases have been made public. The people and in particular social movements continue to promote actions to hold those guilty accountable.
The Supreme Court in Peru will announce next week whether former President Alejandro Toledo will be extradited from the United States to face corruption charges. The court concluded hearings on Monday and announced they would post their decision on their website on March 13th. Toledo has been accused of receiving bribes of up to $20 million from the Brazilian construction company Odebrecht. Peruvian media reports Toledo is now living in California. If the Supreme Court passes the extradition, the Foreign Ministry has 24 hours to submit the request to the United States government.
Ex-President Alejandro Toledo knows perfectly what I reported. He is aware that his trial is unfair. The investigation hasn't been refused. Incidentally, President Toledo is ready to come to Peru so that investigations continue, but not under an order of arbitrary pressure.
President of Brazil, Michel Temer, says he will spend $14 billion on fighting violence in the country.
During a meeting with governors and representatives from the 27 Brazilian states, President Michel Temer announced the delivery of $14 billion of funding to strengthen public security forces and building detention centers.
We can give funds to the states to renew local police forces in each state. This must be done, given the grave concern about violence all over the country.
Governors consider the budget to be very important. They also said that there should be more policies to combat violence.
It is clear that we need to work hard on social issues and even change the constitution to strengthen security. We need money to improve technology as well, but we need to have a plan to funnel this money properly.
Public security is a major problem in Brazil, but opposition groups also criticize the way in which the government has handled it.
They are trying to manipulate people to improve the popularity of Temer's government, and it's not going to work.
Brazilian security is now Temer's top priority. He has ordered military intervention in Rio de Janeiro and made a new ministry to deal with these issues.
teleSUR, Brasilia. While in Nicaragua, a project called Pro Futuro will help thousands of students and teachers in public schools of the country.
This is the Paul Harris School located in the capital Managua. The school has almost 400 students. Fabian is one of them and also one of the 80,000 who will be helped with this project that will give him access to technology through education.
I'm happy because this will help us to make things quicker. It's an improvement to our education.
The digital platform project has interactive versions of all the subjects. It involves giving 8,950 tablets to 161 public schools all over the country.
It's very important because this will improve the children's education. It will open their minds and ease their learning. It also helps me as a teacher. It's a great help for the children, and they are the most important subject of the process.
The program is focused on elementary schools. In total, there are 270 devices being distributed.
In this last term, we are working with mobility, using the mobile devices beyond the computer labs, and it's because they learn better that way.
This program is worth $3 million, and besides helping the students, it will also benefit 3,000 teachers.
We'll take a short break now. Join us again after this look at what our multimedia colleagues are reporting.
And
get out. Come on.
The Oscar goes to...
Let's talk about the Oscars. The 2018 Oscars are this Sunday, and hell, the nominees ain't all white this year. Just take a look at some of the Best Picture nominees. You've got Call Me By Your Name, a gay coming out story that deals with forbidden love, Lady Bird, directed by a woman, Greta Gerwig, the 5th to be nominated ever, and Mexican director Guillermo del Toro behind The Shape of Water, repping the 5th nomination for a Latino. Another awesome flick was 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. It has a raw emotional streak running through the film led by actress Frances McDormand, but has raised some controversy over what some see as a cheap redeeming of an utterly racist character played by the awesome Sam Rockwell. I ain't even gonna talk about The Darkest Hour because, well, I don't give a shit about Winston Churchill. And then there's Get Out. Somehow this little indie comedic horror film filled with social commentary about the black experience inside a white world was nominated for Best Picture, Best Direction for Jordan Peele, and Best Actor for its then newcomer, now Black Panther star Daniel Kaluuya. And the film was made on a $4.5 million budget. That's less than what it costs for one episode of Game of Thrones, and yet it went on to make $200 million worldwide. Plus all of the people of color nominated this year in big categories: Denzel Washington, Octavia Spencer, Mary J. Blige, Dee Reese, Virgil Williams, Rachel Morrison, Faraz Faryad, Kareem Abid, Jens Ford, and Kumail Nanjiani. But this is why protest matters. If it wasn't for the rise of the Black Lives Matter movement in 2014 and the Oscars So White online campaign in 2015, would we even have this kind of diversity? Would the Academy ever have changed its rules and welcomed in both a younger and more diverse voting body? Or would we still be seeing Best Picture films dominated by the latest Scorsese flop? Or stale biopics like The Darkest Hour or The Iron Lady? In 2016, the Oscars So White campaign led Lupita Nyong'o, Ava DuVernay, Spike Lee, and Will Smith to boycott the Oscars after another year of all-white acting nominees. Then last year, Moonlight won Best Picture. Now, I'm not saying it won because of the Oscars So White campaign, but it was given the opportunity to be considered a great film alongside the usual Hollywood contenders. And that's precisely the point: opportunity. It's about letting a film like Get Out or Lady Bird contend against the typical Oscar films that the Academy of all white dudes thinks is the best thing ever, but most moviegoers won't actually ever see. With the rise of the Me Too movement, I'm excited for the prospects of how these women will be able to alter the landscape of the industry in the coming years, where only a third of speaking roles are given to women, and behind the scenes where women make up less than a fifth of editors, writers, directors, and cinematographers, with even less opportunity for women of color. But Oscars is less white and male this year, so let's embrace it and fight for more.
Welcome back. A former Russian double agent has fallen critically ill after possible exposure to an unknown substance in southern England. 66-year-old Sergei Skripal and his 33-year-old daughter fell unconscious outside a shopping center in the city of Salisbury. Skripal was convicted in Moscow of working as a spy for Britain and betraying dozens of Russian agents. He was released in a prisoner exchange with Britain in 2010. Russia says it has no idea what might have caused the incident and offered to cooperate fully with British police. The leaders of North and South Korea have agreed to meet next week. The announcement comes after a high-level delegation met North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in Pyongyang. It is believed that Kim has also agreed to talk to the United States and freeze its nuclear program. On Monday, he met with the 10-member delegation from South Korea and pledged to virtually advance inter-Korean ties and pursue reunification. The relation between the two sides has been improving since the Winter Olympics. Listeriosis has hit South Africa after processed meat contamination. We have more on that and other stories making headlines from around the world.
South Africans are outraged over the death of 180 people by food poisoning. 78 of the 180 deaths were infants. The government has blamed the processed meat, locally known as polony, to have caused listeria, leading to the illness and eventual deaths. There have been 948 cases of listeria reported since 2017. It took the government a year to find the source of contamination. According to the United Nations, it is the largest outbreak of listeria in recent history. Japan's Navy has appointed the first woman to command a warship squadron. 44-year-old Ryoko Azuma will command 4 ships with 1,000 crew members, of which only 30 are women. Japan's military is trying to attract more women to the force to make up a shortage in personnel as the working age population is shrinking.
I feel excited to be appointed as a commander of the 1st Escort Division, which comes with a heavy responsibility. I personally don't care much about my gender. I want to concentrate on fulfilling my responsibility as a commander of the Escort Division.
UNICEF has said there has been a significant drop in the number of child marriages across the world. It said nearly 25 million child marriages were prevented in the last decade. 1 in 5 girls are married before they turn 18 compared to 1 in 4 earlier. The reduction is seen mainly as South Asian countries, which have the biggest adolescent population, have implemented programs to control child marriages, especially India that has cut down child marriages by half.
In Nepal, Buddhist monks are swapping their robes for running gear as they train as marathon runners. They are hoping that Himalayan marathon running will put their remote village on the map and provide funds needed to rebuild homes destroyed by 3 years ago massive earthquake. The monks follow a strict regime, praying in the morning before disappearing into the hills to run up to 25 miles each afternoon. Like many rural communities in impoverished Nepal, the village of Sindukot feels cut off from the rest of the world. Dozens of men in Kyrgyzstan have celebrated the National Hat Day in the capital city of Bishkek. They marked the day by wearing their traditional white headpiece. The four-paneled hat symbolizes forever snow-capped peaks of Kyrgyz mountains. Hats are so important to them that they dedicated National Day to show their respect. Recently, politicians in the country processed a bill that would criminalize disrespect shown towards the traditional headpiece. And we've come to the end of this morning's news brief. These and many other stories, you can find them on our website at telesurtv.net/English. And join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For Telesur English, I am Estefania Bravo. Thank you for watching.